Alrighty, welcome back. Another episode of Post-Fades and Cheesesteaks. Back again with another top 10 players of 2024. No guests this week, just me and Tim rocking out. We'll be doing interior offensive linemen, so guards and centers.
Gotta love it. I love one of my personal favorite.
First time we'll ever be doing it without Jason Kelsey. So a little sad, but
Hey, pour one out to truly one of the greats. Hall of
oh
Famer, easy. Certified good dude.
man, the podcast doesn't want me to promote Kugel Summer Shandy. He keeps blurring it out. There we go.
I
There we
had
go.
had one of those the other day. Delicious.
Delicious.
I went
Cheers.
with American
Jason
Glory,
Kelsey.
little PBR. Cheers to the goat.
All right. So let's get right into it. Who are your honorable mentions for guards and centers here?
So first honorable mention, I got one center, one guard in my honorable mentions. I'll start with the
Okay.
center since we just cheered to the all-time great, Jason Kelsey. Young
Mm-hmm.
guy who's definitely, I mean, the torch is there. There's a couple people in my top 10 at the center position that you could probably say are taking over the torch, but this guy's definitely going to put his name into the conversation for a while. So I got Tyler Linderbaum here, the
Okay.
center from the Ravens, 24
I thought
years
about
old. Now,
yeah, I thought about putting him on my list.
yeah, he's not bad. He's a Pro Bowler already in his second
Hmm.
season. Obviously, we know how great of a run game the Ravens have. Obviously, having Lamar helps a lot, but that
Oh, they
line,
have Derrick Henry.
yeah, the line has been very good. He only allowed one sack all last year, so definitely a guy that's on the up and up. Already an impressive center. It's probably top five center easy. I mean, I think he's top three on my list if I count the centers correctly. So yeah, he's my first honorable mention, and then my next one, we got one of three representatives from the Super Bowl champ Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
Really, I mean, it's kind of amazing. Like that Super Bowl against the Buccaneers seems like 50 years ago. Because since
Yeah.
then, the Chiefs have just went on to win two more Super Bowls, and their offensive line is, I mean, I honestly don't know if they get enough credit. Like they're so good, top to bottom. Switching to left tackles, I think they've had three different left tackles for each Super Bowl. They had Donovan Smith, they had Jamar Taylor this year. They had, I think, Orlando Brown the year before. But yeah, interior though is the strong hold. So Trey Smith is my honorable mention as well.
Okay.
24, big dude, solid in pass and run
Hmm.
game. Obviously, Mahomes is just never touched, and he's part of that incredible trio of interior offensive linemen that they have. Got to easily be hands down the best trio in all of football for interior offensive line.
Yeah. Okay.
So we got two this year. One guard, one center. I think we're good. How many participation trophies do you have?
Just three, but
Okay, well, always one more than me. Go ahead.
all all guards. Um, so first, shockingly, I mean, we just had our edge rusher episode where we had I had a Carolina Panther, or no, former Carolina Panther, and then our defensive tackle ranking, I had a Carolina Panther. Um, so just missing my list, I had Robert Hunt uh from the Panthers. I think he's a really good younger guy. And then two NFC East guys. Tyler Smith, I know he's on a lot of lists. I think it's a little too soon. I think next year he'll be on this list. Um, but yeah, he's unfortunately really good for Dallas. And then Sam
If he
Kazi,
wasn't if he wasn't a Cowboy, would he make your list?
he might get more.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
yeah.
I have a Cowboy on my list very, very, very high. So,
Just about yeah. I mean, you better.
and then Sam Kazi from Washington, another younger uh guy who I think's solid where he's at right now, getting better. But a couple of players I didn't have, carry over. Just little spoilers. Corey Linsley and Brandon Sheriff both did not make my list or honorable mentions this year. So,
I agree with you there. I don't have either of them on my list. My list actually, everyone besides Lindsay and Michael Onwun for the Patriots didn't make it.
okay.
Oh well, Chase Kelsey obviously, of course, too.
And Jason Kelsey, yeah.
But I know. I do remember putting my like paycheck on one being really good. I really thought Patriot system,
You
you
did. I
know,
do recall this.
but but in my credit, I don't think he had a bad year. The whole offense is pretty horrific, but I thought about it for a second or two to be at my honorable mention. But yeah,
Okay.
that was not the case.
All right. Well, no arguments here then. Let's like it. So to preface, like this is we're ranking guards and centers. This is really stats are limited. This is very much on like what we've watched from the games, from some film sesh. So what we these might be a little more like all over the place than some of our other rankings, but who do you have at 10?
So 10 is a guy that he plays everywhere online, and I think it kind of holds him back on like his overall like ranking and respect across the league because he just does a little bit of everything that almost takes away the fact that he's really good, specifically at interior line, which I think he's most comfortable. So I went with Elton Jenkins here from the Packers.
Wow, I also have Felton Jennings at number 10.
Look at that.
Wow, very
I
cool.
th I think he's like if he didn't just like constantly play like different positions like tackle, center, guard, blah blah blah. Even like during earlier in his career, like you just knew him as in left guard, like he's kind of become now. I think he'd be higher on these lists, but he's just been all over the place. But he's really good. Didn't give up a single sack last year. I mean, I'm sure you saw Jordan Love just got paid,
Hmm.
and I think having a nice solid line in front of him definitely helps him in depositing checks. So I went with the Green Bay Packer here, who was on my list last year. I don't remember off the top of my head where I had him last year, but I think he was a couple spots higher. But yeah, that's where I got him this year, number 10.
He was number 9 on my list last year.
He was
So
actually number 8 on my list. So yeah, right
just
around the
one
same
bump.
spot.
Yeah. All right. Um, I'll skip ahead then since we kind of shared. Um, so my number 9, I have Wyatt Teller of the Cleveland Browns. Um,
Perfect.
what's that?
Sounds good. So he did not make my list, but obviously he got
Oh,
mentioned.
two-time
He's
All-Pro or didn't make your list?
nah, because you know what? This is actually a really young position. Like
Yeah,
there's a
a lot
lot
of
of
yeah.
I mean, there's like some OGs, even with Jason Kelsey leaving, that you can't leave off this list, but it's a very young, growing position. And it's a position that's really getting valued well. I think it's like the correlation. Defense tackles are like the new get paid position, and then you got to match that with offensive guards. Your dude, Robert Hunt, me getting 100 million is insane. Like I thought he was okay.
I mean,
But
Wyatt Teller is 29, but sure. Had to have him on the list naturally as a Virginia Tech Hokie. So,
didn't even know that.
but yeah, I mean, I think one thing we can see on a lot of these is that guards, I mean, tackles, I mean, we've seen offensive tackles like a right tackle doesn't always translate well to a left tackle, and a lot of times they struggle at guard because they're honestly just built to be tackles, and that's what their footwork's, secondhand nature to do those steps. But yeah, a lot of these players who can like go from guard to center or flip sides, and some guards even will play tackle. But some of them are undersized. But Wyatt Taylor's 6'4", 300 pounds. I would be pretty confident in seeing him play anywhere else on the line, but good player.
Yeah, I mean, no arguments. I mean, he definitely was in the consideration. He just didn't make the cut this year. He's in between that. He doesn't measure up with the OGs, the veterans, but there's a couple young guys that already kind of taken his spot for me.
Okay.
Moving on. We have one of these old guys that I kept on the list. Like not necessarily OG, but I think he's having like a renaissance almost.
Okay.
Him and this entire offense are kind of growing together. Like
I think I know
I
who
think
you're
he's
talking
always been a
about.
solid player. Yeah, he's always been a solid player. Second team All Pro.
Hmm.
Um, but I think really with the whole line just solidifying themselves in Detroit, he's kind of really worked well. Glasgow solid inside. Penny Sewell arguably is the best offensive tackle outside of Lane Johnson. Um, I'm going to go with Frank Ragnow here, another
Damn.
center that's going to compete for best center in the league now that Jason Kelsey's given up the title. Um, Solid veteran guy. I think he's having his best years now with since the whole offense is sinking. Good quarterback play, good weapons, good offensive line. But he's kind of the heartbeat of that whole offensive line now too. Smart guy too. But he's my number 9.
I also had, well, not he was number 8 for me, but I had Frank Ragnow at number 8.
Wow, look at that.
Um,
We're really synchronized on this.
he made the second team All Pro this past season, so he's definitely been, like you said, solidified. I think he's 28 or 29,
Yeah.
um, and allowed just 1 sack last year on, so that's pretty impressive. I mean, center
Yep.
sometimes you get assistance from the guards, but um, even still, you gotta that's a susceptible spot for blitzing. So
It's true.
yeah,
And I mean it helps like Jared Goff like plays quarterback with cement issues. He's not a very mobile guy at all. So
that's a new
to
one.
take make that even more
Cement.
impressive. Like Goff does not move.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Cement in his shoes. That's funny. He is
So you had
the
him at number 8, did you?
number 8. He is one of 2 centers on my list.
Hmm. Okay.
I think
Actually,
I'm doing that correctly. Yeah,
yeah. Well, I had because I had Linderbaum as my honorable mention. So yeah, he's my second best center in the league right now. Guard heavy draft or top 10 for sure.
always is, always is.
All right, my number 8. This is the guy you already touched on. I am able to look past the color of their jersey and the team they play for because I'm a man of integrity and honor.
hmm hmm
I don't, I'm not, I love the Eagles to death and I hate the Cowboys, but I am not a homer. I can take my emotions away from it when evaluating. This is one
hmm
of those young guys who I think he's also 24, second year in the league, got better than his very impressive rookie season. It is disappointing to see, but Dallas, they do know how to produce offensive linemen. I mean, they just consistently do it like every other year whenever they draft guys high. A guy who's definitely, I mean, he could potentially be a top 5 guy next year. He's really on the up and up. But I've got Tyler Smith here from Dallas at my number 8.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. Like I said, I think he's like you said, he's 24. So I think by this time next year, he'll be on my top 10. But I feel like he just kind of broke out on the scene recently with all the injuries that Dallas has been having on the offensive line. So um see him do to have
I mean,
another successful year and then yeah.
I think he even played a little bit of left tackle. You were talking about seeing guys move around the line. I'm pretty sure when Tyron Smith got hurt, he played a little
I
left
think
tackle, which
I think you're right.
I mean, that's gonna add a little bump into his ranking, even though you hate the guy.
I don't
That's
hate
kind
him,
of
I just hate his
impressive.
team.
Yeah. I think he could probably be top 10 left tackle as well as top 10 left guard. Do you
Tackle's
think
pretty just left
not
tackle. Mm.
not to get off track, but do you think that they would ever move him now that Tyron Smith is gone? Do they move him out to left tackle? I don't even know who their left tackle is now,
I
or they
don't,
just
I
keep
mean,
him as a stud inside.
I would say you keep him unless your left tackle just struggles or is a liability or is injured, then you swap him out. But otherwise, because then you are weakening that guard spot if you take him out of there. But I don't know.
That's true, but
Typically,
more
the
value left
tackles are the
tackle.
best. Typically, the tackles are the best linemen on that on every team's line. Um,
That's
but
true. That's the important spot. But I mean, give Dallas credit. I can think of 4 first round offensive linemen they've picked recently or that still play for them. All studs. Tyrone Smith, Martin, Badajic, I think was also a first round pick. Smith as well. It's sickening, but they draft a guy in the first round on the offensive line. Put your mortgage on him being very good.
yeah, yeah.
Who
Um,
you got there?
all right. So that was your 8, correct?
Correct.
So my 8 was Frank Ragnow. So my 7, a gentleman who just got awarded an $84 million contract extension and went out and bought himself a brand new lawnmower.
Did he?
Um, he did, yeah. You didn't hear about that?
I did not know. That did not make
No.
it to London.
Yeah, he boasted about it on. Well, I think it was in his press conference. They said, "What are you gonna do with all this money now?" And he said, "I'm gonna buy me a new tractor." And he got a lawnmower to mow his acres. So coming in at number 7 for me, Landon Dickerson of the Philadelphia Eagles. He had PFF grades of 70 last year, which is same range as Zach Martin and Quentin Nelson, which are on my list, and they've been established vets for a long time. Um, I don't think anyone's surprised Dickerson is panned out really well for the Eagles. I mean, he's an Alabama guy. Um, but it's nice that we can just plug and play like linemen that we draft, and they, besides a couple
That's true.
exceptions here and there, most of
Now, to
them
be
are
fair,
very
do you
plug and
remember?
play.
I remember when he was drafted, and everyone was bitching because they're like, "We just drafted an injury-prone lineman because obviously tore his ACL in the
Yes,
last game of the
yes.
season." And I remember, dude, like I remember watching him in that game. I was like he's awesome, but also like the fact I remember when he got hurt and they put him on the cart, and every single one of his teammates came off the sideline to like pat him on the head, or, like grab him the shoulder. Like I know college is a lot of feel good, and they do that, like the sportsmanship a lot, but you don't see that a lot. And I was like, this guy seems like the real deal. He was playing center. You could tell he was the lifeblood and one of the captains of an Alabama program that is consistently excellent and has just NFL talent up and down. So I
Yeah.
liked him when they drafted him, even with the torn ACL.
I mean, so like I mean, like you said, so I mean he I think he played in like 10 or 13 some games his rookie year. But then when he started the last 2 seasons, Pro Bowl each year. So
Oh yeah, this guy was so talented. He had the versatility to
yeah.
move inside or play center.
I mean,
Um, uh,
he is a big boy.
yeah, he's huge,
Six
country
six
strong.
six. Yes, country strong.
That's why.
Like
That's why he's
how
getting a tractor.
6'6", 333 pounds, or 198 centimeters, 151 kilograms for you non-US people.
Oh,
But
thank you.
yeah,
Thank you. Now I can really grasp how big he is.
yeah, yeah. In case you weren't aware of how big he was already. Um,
No,
I,
he is great. I
I didn't
love that we have him.
I didn't know that he started out at Florida State and then transferred to Alabama. I thought he was Alabama the whole time.
That I did not know. Honestly,
Hmm.
nowadays, like that's pretty much every player coming out into the NFL. Like
Goes to
they
another
all
college and transfers
start
to
at
Alabama.
like yeah, they just all start at a different school. They commit as a 5-star. They don't start right away. They transfer or someone offers them a shit ton of money. They transfer someone else. They usually transfer 2 more times. College football is insane.
Yeah.
Speaking like, have you played any of the NCAA? Are you still gaming in your life? Or
I do. I
where are
did
you?
acquire the new NCAA game. Yes.
Yeah, what's the rating? I have not gone on. I don't have a console. Did not make it to England with me, unfortunately. But this is actually giving me motivation to get one. I'm not gonna lie. This is the only game that's excited me in a while.
Yeah, I mean it's fun. I got a couple dynasty leagues going. So I got Virginia Tech all the way to the number 2 team in the nation before we entered the college
Wow,
playoffs. So that was pretty good. Good scouting over
impressive.
here. Yeah.
Throwing that
Um,
NLI money around.
oh yeah, got to. It's fun. It's fun to like go back and play with, like, I mean, there's most of the teams you would want to play with are in there. They all have different uniforms. Um, some teams, I mean, I guess because it's the first time they brought the game back, but a lot of teams only have like primary and like home and away jerseys. Um, but like the Oregon Ducks have like 6 different jerseys, and so some teams have a lot of jerseys, some don't. Um,
Hmm.
but it's a good
Well,
time.
play a game with the. Because I mean, you can play old teams from what I understand, right?
Mm, not right now, I don't think. Like, what you mean,
Oh,
like
like the old school teams, like
historic
like
teams?
Like Tebow's Florida teams, or like
I don't think they added that yet.
oh, well, well, I mean, I'm talking on my butt. Maybe I thought that was the case, but I clearly
Mm.
don't know. I was just say, can you play like a game with Landon Dickerson strictly at center with Alabama, and just think
Just
of me
Leonard
while you do it?
Dickerson.
Just Landon Dickerson, lay some real foundational blocks.
I'll just create a player and put his stats at every position: quarterback, running back, wide receiver.
No, 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 you got to play as a center.
Oh,
That's
okay.
that's like the real gamers do. They play offensive line. That's how you really
Hmm.
know you can game.
Okay.
I
Um,
got mine. You're at what was
so
that?
Len
Number
Dickerson was
seven
my
for
number
you?
7. Yeah.
Okay. So my number seven is my highest ranked center actually. Now that Jason
Wow.
Kelsey is retired.
Okay.
Yeah, it's you know what it's
I feel like I got an earful from you last year about this guy, and now you have him fairly low on your list compared to last year.
no no
It's
no
kind
no
of
no no no.
surprising.
You got an ear no no you got an earful from me when he was a rookie and you didn't have him in your list. You had him at like 10, which was just blasphemy.
Oh, 2022, I had him at 10.
Yeah,
2023, I had him at 7.
it's insane. So I mean, you're slowly coming along. Like I said, I'm always a year ahead. You're always a year late. Part
Sure.
of the reason being, like, I mean, when he started, he was incredible. I don't know. Maybe I'm like taking it out on a little bit that he plays against two top 12, top 11 guards on my list. Or maybe I don't know. I'm just moving on. I don't know. But he's still my best center on the list. I have him at number seven, so I'm going with Creed Humphrey here. Another
Okay.
Kansas City Chief.
He's on my list
The
soon.
Yes, yeah, I think five was okay. I'm a little higher on the guards.
Okay.
Not to jump ahead, but since we were talking about him, I had Landon Dickerson at six. So that's he was one of the guys ahead of him.
Okay.
I mean that like now that I'll be completely honest with you, that was a homer pick.
I mean, I didn't know what you were gonna say when I had him at 7. I was like, I don't know, is he gonna think that's too homerish or too not high? So
No,
I
no,
think
honestly,
like five,
I'm a
six,
big
7,
Landon
I think
Dickerson fan.
is fair.
Oh, he's great. That's why I had him at six. That's kind of what bumped out Creed Humphrey down a little bit. I think the top five is all pretty solid and I think understandable. But I
Mm.
mean, Len Dixon, man, is only 25. He's only gonna get better. He's so good in pass and run blocking, which is just insane. Did you know he like or no, I'm sorry, he was thinking of something else. But I like going back to his draft status. This is what I hate about Philadelphia fans sometimes. I just remember everyone ripping him apart, saying, "This guy's hurt. Why did we draft him second round?" Dude, what about him, besides the fact that he tore his ACL as a 21-year-old or whatever,
Hmm.
is not make you think he's not a stud? He's great. Huge fan of his since he came in. I kept him at six because he's lived up to the hype that I gave him. And I think everyone gave him because they were just ready to rip him to shreds and rip Howie to shreds.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, we touched on him, so I don't have to get too far into it. But yeah, I mean, again, part of that younger wave of talent. Dickerson and Humphrey, two young studs in the league, dominating.
All right. Um, my number 6 is a guy that I've gone to war for quite a few years. He was my number one in 2020. Our first year we did our top 10. My number one in 21. My number one in 22. And then 23, I dropped him to 2 because he was coming back off an injury. And I think 2 was pretty high because I just expected him to get back to that same level. Um, I think he's still getting there. I think he had a better year this past year than he did the year before. Um, and he's still a top guard by far. So hopefully this year he'll be able to stay healthy enough to get back to that top 3 level. But number 6, I have Quentin Nelson from the Colts,
Hmm.
one of the best pass blocking guards in the league. And also just a phenomenal overall run blocker too. But yeah, the Colts need him to be their best lineman again to keep that young quarterback upright. And we'll see where that team goes. I mean, they have a lot of question marks on offense, but
Yeah, they're exciting. They got some pieces I'm excited for, though. I mean, I no hate there. I mean, obviously he's on my list and still to come.
okay, okay.
Um, yeah, I mean, he is like, I mean, for a while he was just absolutely dominant and closest, the
Yeah, the
best at the
three
position.
years in a row he was number one team All Pro. So
Yeah, I mean, since he came into the league, he was just insane.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I mean, he was the injuries I think got him in it. Nothing big really, but like some of those
he's
like
still.
nagging ankle injuries.
I mean, and he's still young. I mean, he'll be entering the season at 28, so like 20 and a half. Didn't know he was from New Jersey,
Hmm,
Homedale,
I didn't know that either.
Homedale,
Oh, I know
Homedale.
home Dallas. Yeah, it's South Jersey.
Oh, he was born. Yeah, 96. Damn, we're at that time now. All these players are younger than us. even the
Yeah,
veterans.
that's
Ugh.
unfortunately that's been the case for the last couple of years.
Hmm.
Yeah, don't look at NBA rookies. That does not make you feel good.
How old is Bronny?
Yeah. Ugh.
17? He can't even drink yet.
Yeah, we're almost at the point where like obviously the guys drafted now are like when we were in elementary school they were born. Like I think we're middle school now. I think they were born when we were in middle school. They're close to it. Maybe we're still in our elementary, but we're getting
Well, I
close.
don't.
We're getting
Yeah,
close.
we're not that old. Let's calm down.
We're not far off.
Let's not think about that.
Yeah.
All right. Who's your
All
so
right.
your number six was Dickerson.
Yeah.
Um, and then so might as well crack open top five then. Who's your number
I'm not
five?
gonna lie. This top five looks like a Dakota top five. I went with all the old heads in my top five. I got the young
Okay.
guys out of my way. Maybe that's why Creed Humphrey's at seven because I strictly made the top five an old man's club.
Okay.
But my number five, I went with a guy who's been on this list multiple times. He's been dominant for a while. He was at my number two
Hmm.
last year.
Oh,
Um, still very solid guy. The guy's so consistent. I mean, I think he missed maybe I think 2 games this year, but that was like the only 2 games he's missed since like 2017.
okay.
Um, 6-time Pro Bowl, 2-time All Pro. I'm going with Joel Bitonio from Cleveland.
Mm, okay.
Older veteran guy, but I mean, he still balls out. He's still incredibly like at an incredible level. Um, I only knocked him down a couple spots just because he is getting a little older, and I was a little higher on some other guys that came back and resurged. But yeah, he's been a stalwart. He's one of those been like arguably top decade kind of interior offensive lineman guys.
Okay. I have him pretty soon, but my number five is a guy you just recently touched on, Creed Humphrey out of Kansas City. Um, like you said, I think now that Kelsey's kind of like how when Aaron Donald, funny how that worked. Aaron Donald retired, and Kansas City Chief took the throne of best D tackle, and
Yep.
a Philadelphia Eagle retires, and a Kansas City Chief takes the throne as best center. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like I could see the drop off a little bit. While you put him a little lower. I mean, he allowed 5 sacks this year, as a
Yeah,
center,
I mean, he
but it
was
was
like
weird. It was only on 14 pressures, so that means like that guy was like he got through and he got to making business. So,
well, I mean, the Browns
um,
offense was kind of in discombobulated for a little bit. You know, obviously you had Flacco, who, if you want to talk about cement in your shoes, he's glued to the floor. I don't think he's moving much. Um, then Deshaun Watson was coming in, who was really erratic. Who he already takes a ton of sacks, but yeah, I mean, I still think he's a stalwart though.
all right. So yeah, I had Humphrey there at five. Um, yeah, two Pro Bowls in his first 3 seasons is crazy for a center. But who is
He's been
your
great
number
since he
four?
entered the league.
Yeah, yeah. Who's your number four?
All right, so my number four is apparently your guy. I don't remember this being your guy. I mean, you're also attaching your guy to
Well,
one of
when
the
I
like he's
say my
been incredible since he's entered the league. I don't remember many battles you had to fight for him.
I meant my guy is in I would pick him over a certain Dallas Cowboy every year. That's kind of what I was going toward. But
I mean, all right, I guess, just because he's your excuse to hate on the Cowboys, fine. But I took Quentin Nelson
I
here.
I just remember last year you gave me a lot of shit for having him high again.
I always give you a lot of shit. No, because last year was not a good year for him.
Yeah, but I'd say
I
he's not going to knock him
Last year I
for
had him
too
at
bad.
six. I had him at six. He was coming off the worst year of his career. That was very
Mm.
reflective. I brought him down off the worst year of his career. I think you raised him from the year prior. So that's where the whole nonsense that you apply doesn't make sense. But
Yeah.
again, this is where I'm being rational. He played very well this year. He
Hmm.
showed us that number one interior offensive lineman, all pro talent again. Only 1 sack. Guy played all 17 games, which is huge. The Colts, forgetting the team he was playing for. The Colts had this nice established running game once Jonathan Taylor's contract got sorted out. I mean, They were okay. They were pretty solid on offense, considering they went through Richardson, Jonathan Taylor contract problems. Gardner Minshew, I think, finished the year, but he looked great. I mean, he was back to his usual self. There was no question that this is Quentin Nelson and he's back. So I gave him 4. I want to see him do it again before I put him back with the big dogs up in the top 3. But I think 4 is a good spot right now.
Okay. My number 4 guy you just mentioned, Joe Bitonio, Cleveland Browns left guard. Been one of the best guards in the league for a long time. So I mean, he's made 6 straight Pro Bowls. First time he didn't make the All-Pro team was this past year, which I mean, it's not like he had a bad season. He only allowed 2 sacks on almost 600 pass blocking snaps.
I forgot to mention this, but like low key, is he a Hall of Famer? Or like he
I
might
mean,
be. If he's not there, he's definitely putting his name there.
at the 6, I mean, Pro Bowls are different than All Pros, obviously, but I mean, 6 Pro Bowls is pretty substantial. I don't know how
I
many.
mean,
Let me see how many All
he's
Pros. 3
like
time All. Oh no, that's
2010, 2010s. Like he's got to be one of the. I mean, easy top 5 guard, but where does he rank offensive lineman in 2010s? He's got to be up in the list, top 10 maybe.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's tough, and he's been with the same team the whole time too, which is hard to do. I mean, the Browns have gone through hell and back.
It's true.
Um, yeah, I mean, yeah. After 2018 season is when he like really took off. That those 5 straight All Pros and then 6 straight Pro Bowls. Well,
He's so
he has
consistent.
2.
Doesn't miss time.
He's a 2-time first team All Pro, but he's been first or second team 5 years in a row, which is still pretty impressive. Considering only
Yeah,
one left guard is making All Pro, first team All Pro. So
it's true.
yeah, I mean, um, trick question: do you know where he went to college?
Oh, I feel like I do.
Where would a caveman?
Oh,
Where would a
oh,
guy who looks like a
I want to
caveman go to
say,
college?
damn, I do know this. Those Midwest, like Nevada or Utah schools. I want to say Nevada.
Wow, good. Cheers to you,
Was it
Tim.
Nevada?
Nevada is correct.
I was sad. I knew that one. That one I knew. I don't know why I knew it.
Yeah,
This is
this
like the thing, like
of all the players to know where they went to school, a left guard is not one that's on my radar normally. So
especially one from Nevada. Like
yeah,
this is the thing. Some people's brains contain like, mathematical equations or like multiple languages. Mine knows where Joel Bitonio went to college.
it's
So
impressive.
yeah, I mean, yeah. So what? You might
Yeah.
know the mathematics behind AI. I know where Joel
Mm.
Bitonio went to college.
Now he will be close to 33 by the time the season starts. So that's why I took him down, I think 1 or 2 spots from last year. What was he last year? He was 4 last. Oh no, same ranking. I lied. Talking out of my ass. So
As you usually do.
yeah. But I mean, linemen are tough. Like some guards, some tackles get better with age and then stay consistent for a bit. It's really until they get like a really bad injury at the like mid 30s. That's when we see a decline. But we'll see. We'll see how they. I mean, hey, Cleveland, Kansas City, Detroit, and Philly prominent on this list, and they all have some of the probably the top 5 offensive lines in the league. So
And top 5 offenses. That's how they
yeah.
go though.
Yeah.
So cracking
So
my top 3. I'm just gonna come out this and say if Quentin Nelson's your guy, this is my guy. I don't know why. I can't really tell you where it came from. I can't tell you why. I really like Joe Tooney. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I always liked Joe Tooney. I think he's a
okay.
stud. I thought him when he left the Patriots or when they traded him,
Hmm.
it was like one of those classic Belichick moves. The guy's really good, but they move on from him anyway. And that wasn't one of those like Trey Flowers or Jamie Collins or, whoever they get rid of and sucks. I thought he was awesome. Like he's so good in pass protection. And then like the Chiefs must have known this. They knew they had Patrick Mahomes. They knew they were going to throw the ball. They knew they had Andy Reid. Like I don't know if he's much of a rush artist, but You're protecting Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady. That's something to be proud of. You know how to
Yeah,
pass block. You
yeah.
know. So I went with Joe Tooney here. Again, wins another Super Bowl. Guys on a they're stealing money at this point. 5 year, $80 million, what they gave him 3 years ago. Robert Hunt, the dude in your honorable mentions, who I think is a very borderline average guard, is getting 5 years for $100 million. Like it's just nuts. But I don't know why. He's just one guy I've always liked. I think it's because there's no guards that really get any credit when it comes to pass block, and he's just so good at it. And he's been incredible at it like his entire career. I believe he made the All Pro this year, um, which he did, and he also had the best PFF grade for pass blocking for interior lineman again. So just
Hmm.
truly incredible. He's just so good at pass blocking. It's a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any disagreements. He's not my number three, so
Wow, you like him more than me. Wow. All right,
I
fair
I
enough.
do. I do.
That's wild because he's my guy. But
My
to be fair, I had your guy higher
yeah,
than
yeah.
you.
So we're a little
Maybe
drunk, I
maybe
guess.
maybe they aren't our guys.
Yeah, they're in fact not our guys. Um so my number three has jumped up, I would argue, to the number one of a lot of other people's opinions. But I think while I don't disagree with that conversation, I think looking at the fact that he did struggle coming out of the gate as a first round pick, took him a couple years to get his footing down, and now he's been getting, to the Pro Bowl, all pro level. Chris Lindstrom on the Falcons. I mean, we'll see how he does now that he has actual capable quarterback. Maybe it'll prove that. I think that might prove that he's even better than he's given credit for. Um, but then again, he was doing all this with a shitty quarterback. Um, but yeah, I mean, you just look at the two running backs that Atlanta has and how much space they've been able to run with, and um, they put anyone back there and they were getting yards. So, and he was a big part of that. Um, I could see him being possibly one or two next year if he continues the trajectory. But I think for right now, I got my one and two pretty cemented. So, um, no disrespect to him, but I think he's number three on my list.
Right. I mean, obviously, I have him at number two. No
Okay.
argument there. I mean, I think it's actually impressive. Like the Falcons actually run the ball pretty well for no quarterback, and the fact that
Yeah,
they don't want like to use
Algier's a
Bijan
good running
Robinson.
back.
Yeah,
Well, he looks like a good running back.
that's the thing. Like something about like it's almost more impressive when you look at how good Lindstrom is at run blocking. When you factor in his quarterback is awful, and whatever reason Arthur Smith likes to use his backup running back constantly. Like it's just it's mind
I mean, I don't
numbing.
know if
But
that's Arthur Smith's decision. He's the owner, but
oh, I'm sorry, what's the dude's name? No, Arthur Smith is the coach. Arthur Blank's the owner.
oh, okay, good.
Come
Arthur
with your
Smith got
facts next
fired.
time.
Didn't Arthur Smith
Yeah,
get fired?
well, yeah, but they haven't started the new year with it.
Too many fucking Arthurs. I don't think I even know an Arthur in real life.
The Aardvark.
I don't know him personally.
But yeah, no, I got Chris Lindstrom. I mean, second team all pro. He was actually Pro Football Focus. They loved him. He was the highest rated guard.
I,
He was the only interior lineman to rank 85 or higher on pass blocking and 75 and higher on run blocking.
I'm pretty sure ESPN loved him too. I think he was number one on their list, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's a good guy. Ever since he like, I mean, I knew him. Obviously, he was a first round pick. I thought he was a solid player. Then he signed that huge deal. I was like, oh, okay, sorry, I wasn't familiar with your game. And then
Yeah,
since then, it's
yeah,
you're just like he's just stuck in an offense that's so inept at quarterback that and play calling with now that Smith's gone. But you look at it and you're like, wow, considering they consistently use their backup running back and they don't have a quarterback, it's pretty impressive they ran the ball as well as they did.
yeah. Um, So we'll see. Like I said, the fact that he was opening holes for the with the rest of the people on that line, plus the running backs and quarterback they had, shout out him. But a little bit of a flip flop here. My number three, Chris Lindstrom, pretty damn good run blocking guard, also good pass blocking guard. But my number two, Joe Tooney from the Chiefs, arguably, I don't think there's much argument, best pass blocking guard in the league. Still pretty top, I would say top 10 run blocking guard. But I mean, I feel like I just keep going back to that Super Bowl where Patrick Mahomes was running for his life on 75% of the plays when they lost to Tampa.
Yeah.
And what did they do? That offseason, they went out and got him some offensive line help. And Jared Feeney was one of those pieces. And it's been great for them, obviously, ever since. They've won 2 Super Bowls since then. Um, he's, like I said, on PFF, 88.8 pass blocking grade. I don't think I've ever seen pass blocking grade that high.
Yeah,
Um,
he's pretty amazing.
and even his run blocking is in the 75s. So pretty damn good. He's a little older now, but still, like I said, with guards and tackles, as long as they keep their health good, they can play for quite a bit. So I got him at number 2. So it sounds like our number 1 is the same. I was curious to see if there was going to be any change because I know a lot of these other lists out there, they put some disrespect on him, which is crazy that I'm defending a Cowboy, but they
Yeah, let's be honest though. You have to. Like there, I mean, pour one out for Jason Kelsey, but when you talk about the best lineman, not even interior lineman
one
of
of
the
the best,
last
yeah,
like 10
10
years,
years,
he's
yeah.
there. Jason Kelsey, Trent Williams. I'm throwing Lane Johnson there. I mean, interior wise, like it's him, Kelsey, and like Marshall Yonda's up there. Like
Rodney
he's
Hudson, maybe.
he had a cup of coffee. I don't know if I would call him dominant for the decade. He walks into the Hall of Fame whenever he wants to. Do you know he has obviously first team All Pro, but he has as many holding penalties his entire career as he does first team All Pros in his career. I
Really?
think it's 6-6, maybe 7-7. The guy is
That's
just
pretty insane.
insane. He's so versatile. Like he's so like he doesn't miss any games. He's healthy all the time, constantly dominant. He ages like wine. Like it's just there really is no decline. The guy's 33, just made another first team All Pro. Um, he was third among the field in run block rate from ESPN. I just I don't know. Like there's really not much else you could say about him. He like Jason Kelsey was going to hold on to that top center title until he wanted to retire. Zach Martin has it until he wants to retire. I don't care what anyone else is doing. He's got it until he wants to retire.
Yeah, and again, this hurts my soul to have to say such good things about the Dallas Cowboy, but put it in perspective that this guy is number 1 on our list in 2024, but he used to block for Tony Romo.
Yeah.
Like,
7 first team All Pros in 10 seasons. We
yeah,
were talking about Joel Bitonio. Tough luck you can't get it. There's only one left guard. Tough luck that Zach Martin's in front of you.
yeah,
It's
that's
you know what? It's the argument I make with Levante David is another player. Levante David doesn't get nearly any
oh
consideration as a Hall of Famer because he played his whole career behind Bobby Wagner. And those All Pros
yeah,
matter, but
yeah,
when you have Bobby Wagner and Zach Martin in front of you, you just won't get them.
yeah. I think that's even a lot of times that's the case for a lot of players. I mean, even in his prime, I mean, Fletcher Cox and Chris Jones were always in, Aaron Donald's shadow, even when they were the top of the top. So yeah, there'll always be that one player that's far and above everyone else. But yeah, it's just crazy to me to see where he like PFF has him at 7. Like I know he's been a little more injured as of late, but I mean you can't deny what he's been able to do and what he's still doing. So Dallas would be lost without him on the line. So as we saw when
Oh yeah,
injuries
without a doubt.
happen.
Well, I
But
mean, as we will do every interior offensive lineman list until he retires, and now that Jason Kelsey's gone, we end on Zach Martin.
oof. Hopefully not on a Cowboy too much longer. Maybe he decides he wants to retire and raise chickens on a farm or something. I don't know where he's from,
You,
but
you can only hope, right?
all
Alrighty.
right. Good list.
Love the big uglies. Until next time.
All right. Till next time. Peace.